If you've ever waited hours just to upload footage to your editor, you know exactly how painful it is. This is why I picked up the UGREEN 4800 Plus NAS system, and it completely changed my workflow. Now you might be asking me, what is a NAS? It stands for Network Attached Storage, which is a centralized file-based storage device that connects to a network, allowing multiple users and devices to store, retrieve, and share files from one accessible location. One of the biggest bottlenecks in video production is moving massive files around, especially if you work with remote editors. Trust me, I can understand. I used to waste hours uploading projects and waiting on files to transfer on Google Drive or Dropbox, and it just took forever. That's why I picked up the UGREEN 4800 Plus. I also upgraded the RAM and cache, and now my workflow is seamless with the editors overseas. In this video, I'll break down how I set it up, the features that matter for video creators, and why this might be a game changer for your team. This is why I got the NAS in the first place. Let's talk about it. Before this, my workflow was honestly a nightmare. Slow uploads, scattered hard drives, and overseas editors waiting on me to send them footage that took forever on Google Drive. One of the biggest issues that I had was the giant 4K and 6.8 files that just took forever to load. And honestly, I wasn't able to get projects turned around because, it just took forever for my overseas editor to get the footage. My goal, honestly, is to make this a central hub for storage and easy access for my team. This is about workflow, not just tech. Most reviews talk about specs, but let's be real. As a video production company, here's what actually matters. Centralized storage, which equals no more scattered drives, easy access for overseas editors, that makes the team work just as efficient as if they were local, and reliability plus redundancy, which makes it safer than juggling SSDs. I also want to talk about how I upgraded the RAM and the cache and how that can benefit, your editing team in post-production. Right now, I want to show you exactly how I use my NAS system, and the first thing that you want to do is go to find.ugnas.com. You can see it at the top. Once you get everything set up correctly with your internet, you'll see that you'll be able to kind of find your NAS. And I already set it up, so I'll kind of show you how I use the NAS with my team in order to get projects done quickly. So let's go ahead and connect. So as you guys can see, we are already in the NAS. What I love about it is honestly the seamless flow of it. It doesn't have a steep learning curve. I think anybody can come in here and use it. And I was able to use it within a day without reading the manual. So the first thing I want to go through is actually the storage. Now, so the first thing I want to talk about is the storage. I want to show you exactly how I set up my NAS system. So as you guys can see, I have 4 hard drives. I'm gonna go to storage. Now, as you can see, I am running a RAID 5 redundancy system, which uploads all of my videos to 3 hard drives and backs everything up on the 4th one. So as you guys can see, I've used around 912.9 gigabytes. And this is how much I use caches, which in my opinion is not a lot. It saved me so much time. So I'll let you guys go ahead and see this. I have my 4 hard drives and then my 2 other SSDs for cache. All right, I want to get into the control panel and show you exactly how I set mine up. So let's go to user management. As you guys can see, I am an administrator. And on my password, I put that it must contain both uppercase and lowercase, at least one number and a special character. Just want to make sure that you protect your stuff, because anything can happen if somebody gets into it. I'll let you look at my settings. And we're not going to get into this because it'll show more personal stuff. All right, I really wanted you guys to look at this settings feature. I think it's very important because you do want to make sure that you protect your stuff at all times. So within 30 minutes, it'll log out, which is very important. And all save user login sessions are cleared within a system restart. I also like it that if the password is incorrect 3 times, it'll pretty much block the person out, which is a very good safety feature to have. Right now, I want to show you guys exactly how I organize my files and send my files to my editor. Now, I'm still fairly new with this NAS system, so you won't see a lot of footage, but I will show you exactly how I get the footage to my editors and how everything's protected. So we'll go over here to my personal folder because I want to be able to share it eventually. So we'll right click. Once I right click, you'll see that I can share it. And once I share it, I can either keep it internally or I can send it out. So I'm just gonna change this to next Friday. Allow him to download, and if I want to give him a password like legend or 1234, I could do that. So you can also allow them as many visits as they want. So if you want them to only have 5 total visits, then you can do that, but I'm just gonna check that off. And I trust my editor, so I'm just gonna keep the password off. All right, but that's pretty much it. You press OK. All right, and then as you can see, I can share this link with my actual editor. All I gotta do is send it to him in a Slack channel or whatever channel you use to, communicate with your team, and go from there. But cancel this, and this is pretty much how I use my NAS for my video production company. Let's talk about the UGREEN NAS and some of its features that I like about the DXP 4800 Plus. Now, the reason that I decided to go with the 4-bay unit is simply because it gives me enough slots to store, my hard drives. Now, what I liked about this is the price. I honestly think you're getting, your money's worth for 4 slots, and you can go up to 136 terabytes of massive storage, which is, for me, very, 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 very essential for video production. Now, what I said before, I love how this basically gets rid of all the subscriptions that you have. So if you have Google Drive or Dropbox, it'll pretty much get rid of a traditional cloud service and your external hard drives. Like me, I'm pretty sure you carried a lot of SSDs around, all of your client stuff on it or personal stuff on it, but this allows everything to be underneath one hub, which I love. I also love that they have data security. There's file sync, backup permission management, real-time scan. And if you didn't know, if one of the hard drives failed, it has a redundancy system. So not only is all of your footage saved, but you can replace that damaged hard drive with another one. That's very important for a person that has definitely lost footage in the past with corrupt SSDs, corrupt SD cards, and the list goes on and on. Like I said before, this NAS is easy to access anywhere around the world, which makes our workflows very effective and efficient in our video production company. I was a big fan of adding more cache to my NAS, which allowed me to upload a lot of my footage very quickly. So as you can see in the video, they have some at the bottom of this NAS, and I did the exact same thing. I use Samsung as well as another brand. I'll drop it right here. I believe it's like Vengeance, and that actually sped up the process of my footage on my NAS and allow my editors to, access the footage very quickly to turn the projects around. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into the specs of the actual NAS. They have plenty of videos out on there. The goal of this video is just to show you how I use it in my video production company and how it can help you as a person that's on the fence about maybe getting a NAS system. So as you can see, it has a SD card slot, which is actually pretty dope. It has a USB Type-C. It has a 10 gigabit slot. It also has a USB Type-A slot. I also love that it has a 4K HDMI slot. It has another USB Type-A slot on the back, and it also has 2 USB 2.0 slots. So as you guys can see, you can read it. It has a 2.0 gigabit slot for Ethernet, and then also a 10 gigabit Ethernet slot if you really want that fast upload and speed from your internet. When I opened the box, I was actually pretty shocked what was inside. Not only did it have some SSD silicone pads for heating, but it had hard drive, tray keys, screwdrivers, Ethernet cables, and power adapters, and of course, the manual. But yeah, what I loved about it is that not only was it built durable, it looked very good, and you could tell that they actually put a lot of thought to the NAS system. So in my opinion, I think you're getting what you pay for. And like I said before, if I was you, I would add another NAS to your NAS system just for backup. I would maybe have this at your home office and then have another NAS system at your studio or your parents' house, just in case something happens. You never know, man. There might be a fire, there might be a flood, somebody might break in your house and maybe steal your NAS. I don't know, but you want to make sure that you have a backup for a backup. That's exactly what I do. Not only do I have a NAS, but I have an external hard drive, and yeah, it's very important to back up your footage because anything can happen. Now, if you're a person that's really balling on a budget, they do have a 6-bay NAS system. I think this is the best option to get. It just future-proofs you, honestly, for anything that you need as far as your hard drives. I do love that it has 6 bays, but at the time that I got mine, I could only afford 4, and that's cool, man. I'm growing a video production agency, but if you can afford to get the 6-bay unit, I would get it and just try to get as much storage as you can, so you don't have to constantly replace. Your hard drives in your NAS. This is where it gets interesting. The NAS isn't just about storage. It's actually changing how my team works day to day. What I really want to talk about is how my editors pull footage from anywhere around the world. Not only does it make for faster uploads and less waiting, but it also just makes the workflow extremely easy. And that's something that I really love about this NAS system. Google Drive and Dropbox are honestly good software to use, but it just gives people a lot of headaches. And honestly, it gave me a lot of headaches when I would have to upload footage and wait for it to, be in a folder for my editors. Some of the issues that I had is that the files wouldn't load completely, or honestly, I just kept running out of storage. And this is why I love the NAS, because it allows me to control the amount of storage that I could put into the actual storage system. And honestly, I love it because I can change it out whenever it gets full. So not only does it help with redundancy and it backs up my footage, but I also feel like it provides more space, and I'm a big fan of getting rid of subscriptions. If you don't know, man, Google Drive and Dropbox can get very costly when you go past 1 terabyte, when you get up to 5 and 10 and so forth. So I typically like to get rid of bills and subscriptions, and I think this is honestly the best bet, and it's future-proof. Not only can I change out the hard drives, but it allows me to back up my footage in one particular place. Now, I always recommend you getting another NAS just so you have a backup for a backup. And what I do is I actually store it on my external hard drive as my backup for my backup. So don't be the guy that think that nothing will happen to your footage. Anything can happen. Your house can burn down, your house can flood, and I would hate for you to lose all of your valuable memories or your client work just because you didn't back it up correctly. So in my opinion, just do the right thing, spend the money now. That way that you don't have to worry about the headache later on down the line. If you're running a creative business, the real win isn't just faster uploads. It's how this makes you look more professional to clients. Clients love professionalism, and they also love knowing that their files are secure and backed up. A perfect example would be my wedding videographers or photographers, or even me, a person that does higher premium podcast shows. What I love about the NAS also is that it's scalable. Not only can one editor work on it, but you can send it to as many people as you want. So if you have a team of 1 or 5, it really does not matter. And it also has key features like password protection. So if you want to give your editors, a password to access the footage or the files, you can do just that. What I love about this is that it's very flexible. I could put my podcast shows on here, my corporate interviews on here, and honestly, even, the birth of my baby or my son, if I want to do that. It really just depends on what you want to put on your NAS, but honestly, I love it because it just gives me peace of mind knowing that my client work is safe and even my personal memories are stored and locked up away. Now, I'm not a specs guy, like I mentioned before, so here's my honest take. Who should actually get this and who shouldn't waste their money? This is perfect for production companies, freelancers with remote editors, or even anyone tired of file transfer headaches. That would be me. I like to improve or add on later. I also love that the UGREEN NAS system has a seamless process on its app. Not only are things easy to find, but it's seamless. And to me, that really makes me love the UGREEN NAS system because it prevents headaches. It allows me to get in, get out, do my job, and send my footage to my team quickly. Some things can have a deep learning curve, and honestly, the NAS system was very easy. I also love that they have a mobile app, so I'm able to access my files and send it to my team on the go, and that allows for really fast turnaround times. At the end of the day, this NAS solved one of the biggest bottlenecks in my video production company, getting projects to my editors fast. Chef kiss. If you want more gear reviews from my perspective, all you gotta do just hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell because it's going to notify you when we drop another banger. Also, don't be afraid to drop a comment below if you felt like this solved a problem for you in your workflow. Like I tell all my legends, go be legendary. I'll see you later. Peace.